welcome to my channel. I'm Laura and I'm happy to have you join me today. And if you're new here, consider giving me the thumbs up as it really helps my channel, but also by subscribing, leaving me your comments, and make sure you turn on your notifications so you know when we have new content to share with you. And we have added many of our products on our website, so I'll leave the link for that in the description below, and these also will be listed there as well. All right, so let's get started as I show you how to wire wrap these really beautiful sea glass pieces. So the materials we are going to use for this really great little pendant project is a piece of sea glass, and my husband and I have traveled quite extensively around the world, and I always look for water and like to see if I can find some sea glass, and I have from just about everywhere that we've ever been. So that's pretty cool. So a chunk of sea glass. Here I have a coil of gauge 30 jewelry wire, and I have about 1 meter of that, and then we just have a variety of jewelry pliers. So to start, we stretch our wire out to its full length, and it's really important to note that when we're making this project, you're going to want to keep the end wire fairly straight, as it acts like a needle when we're actually doing our weaving. So you'll see as I go through the project, that's something that I do. Once things start to get snagged or tangled up, and it just alleviates a lot of frustration to remember to be doing that. So what I've done is I've taken my round nose pliers, and I want to create 2 loops here. So as you can see, I've twisted it twice around the pliers, and it gives me this little tail. And what this is this is the bail to our pendant. And this is a super finicky part of this project. Persevere, just keep trying. It gets easier more often you do it. Make sure your hands are dry and you don't have lotion or anything on them either. So you can see that I have formed that. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our round nose pliers again, and we're going to make 3 loops around our pliers. Okay, so, and they don't have to be the exact same size. This whole project is rather random. There's no exact anything to it, and I think that's part of what, part of its charm, actually. So, so I've got three of those loops here. And now holding on to them, we're going to take that wire and we're going to wrap it around our loop that created our bail. So we're going to have 2 wires here to create our bail, and then we've got 3 that we're going to start our weave with. Okay, so those we want to open up, okay, because these we are going to fit over the top of our sea glass. So this is essentially going to hold that glass in place as we start weaving. All right, so bringing in our glass, you can see how that's going to fit on the top like that. And then we're just going to take our wire, and it doesn't matter on which side. This first bit is a little finicky anyway. Now the way the weave works, so you can start by going up through your loop and then coming down. I just find it's a little bit easier. The wire tends to behave better by taking the end, coming down through your loop, and you want to make sure you're coming up the center of the loop. And that'll become more clear the further along we go. And I hope this makes sense to you guys at some point. Once again, practice, practice, practice with all of this. So I went through the one loop and I just kind of made this little curl here, okay? And as I said, part of the joy or charm of this project is that our weave is messy. It's very random, right? So you don't have to be worried if things end up being a little squished, especially at the onset or a little bit further apart, because it does have a way of working itself out. All right, so taking the end of our wire again, we're pushing it down through that loop, and then making sure that it's come up through the center of our wire. We're just going to pull it in, pulling gently, 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 because this wire can kink up very quickly, and then as soon as you have those bent areas, then it starts to snag on everything, and it can become quite frustrating. So I created another loop there. So I'm holding on to this, and I'm bringing the wire around to the other side. So we might even have been able to use like 4 of the loops on the top. Experiment and see what works for you, and ultimately it's not going to make a difference. You just end up with more loops. So there we go. I created another little loop here, and we just continue to do this as we go around. So I'm coming down through this one here, and I've got to grab the wire, making sure it comes up through that gap, through that hole, pulling it nice and tight. So I got a really nice, whoops, see what I mean? That's just going to happen with your project. So happens to all of us. Then once again, we're going through the wire and pulling it through slowly, 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 helping it along if you need to, just by guiding it with your fingers and holding it nice and firm. So then we're coming around the edge of our wire again, or the edge of our sea glass, pardon me, finding a spot where that's going to come through with ease and giving it another firm pull on it. You just worry that wire along the edge, whatever edge you're on there, eventually it's going to find a hole. We bring it around here again. Whoopsie, and it's popped off. It's all good. It slides back on. The wire, of course, molds itself to whatever it is that you're wrapping it around. Now there's some really great tutorials out there that show how to wire wrap stones with no holes, and I actually have one as well, so I'll put the link up here for that so that you can check that out, but I'll also put it in the description below so that you can have a peek at that. And sometimes that's just easier to use that link that's in the description. So then just find that hole, find the gap where the wire will easily fit through, and then just pulling that nice and tight. Nice and tight there. So I'm calling this a weave, but the technique is the same as a Viking knit. And the Viking knit tends to be done in a spiral or a circle, so that you end up with this tubular piece of wire, and I think it's really quite striking. It's really quite a stunning technique, and as I said, it's often used for jewelry, but there's some sculptors, wire sculptors. One is from California. I think they have one actually in Vancouver as well, Vancouver, Canada, and they make things like lampshades, light fixtures, and just freestanding, free-form sculpture, and I absolutely love it. It's just super cool. So I would say if you're curious, then just have a look and see if you can find, just Google it, right? Wire, Viking knit or wire art, and just see, because it's seriously cool stuff, and way beyond my ability and patience, I'm sure. But yeah, once again, it's pretty cool. So here what I'm finding, I don't know if you can see it, I hope you can, is that I'm starting to get a few kinks in here, and so when the wire's being pushed through, it's just naturally bending in those points. So I'm going to give it just another little trim here, sharpen up, straighten out that edge, and it just makes it so much easier to get it down through your wire loops here, so that you can continue with your stitches. So we're nearing the very bottom of our project here, and what I want to do, I'll try to do a couple more stitches here, and actually it looks like fish scales, doesn't it, or dragon scales, and I love that. I think it's super fun. So I've come around and I've captured the bottom of the sea glass, and as you can see here, I ran out of wire, so all I had to do was finish off the end of the piece that I ran out of, and then I should have got this on film actually, I fed the wire up and then just kind of worked it through one of these loops, and then cut them nice and close, and you just want to make sure that you have no pokey bits on those, okay? So you want to really make sure that you have the ends kind of tucked in underneath the wire. When you're actually doing true Viking knit, you weave that into the wire piece that you're working on, which is really cool too. So okay, so we're going to continue on. So we've kind of reached the last row here that we're going to do, but what I'm going to do is finish this off by poking that in there, and let me just see if I can lift that up a little bit so that I can get our wire in there. And it's looking a little finicky here. Let me see if I can get it in there somewhere. Okay, we're going to do this one here. Bringing the wire up through the center, which I've been preaching about the whole time. Okay, one more on this one. And the reason I'm doing this, why I'm so intent on doing this, is I want to make sure that we can bring the wire up the side of the piece. And that'll make more sense to you once we're actually here. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to continue to weave through these here until we get to the bail at the top. So we're going to just find some gaps in here. And see if we can work our wire through here. This part is tricky. Let's go this direction. There we go, that's better. That's better. All right. So then we're putting our wire down. Kind of reversed it on you guys a bit here. And I may reverse it yet again, because that felt a little bit awkward. But I was forced to go down instead of up, and that's what happened. That's what happened there. So, see, oh, that happened with great ease. Okay, so I did manage to get up. So we want to make sure that the wire, the end of the wire is coming through the center. We're just going to help that along. Sometimes you need your pliers to do that. Use your tools. Help you through, help you along. And this isn't necessary, it finishes it off nicely so that you don't end up with a bunch of ends. I mean, it's unfortunate that I ran out of wire in the first place at the bottom there, but it is what it is. So I'm going to cut this off again. Hooking that through. Awesome. Okay. It's a nice little gap, a nice natural hole there. And this is twisting on me. So the wire is starting to fatigue is what's happening. So as many of you likely know, that the more you work with wire, of course, it hardens. And then that's when you end up with the wire snapping on you and taking on all kinds of nasty habits. And there's really no way to avoid that happening. So as you can see, I'm just working the wire up the side, which creates its own loops. Right, once again, this is a very loose design. There are no rules. So we just want to get that wire up to the top. Okay, and I think I'll do one more just to get it up there through that there. Okay, fabulous. All right, I'm loving it. Okay, so then we're just going to give a few wraps. Well, a few, that was probably 3 or 4. And then we're just gonna, a little bit wire stuck there. We're just gonna give it a little snip. Taking our flat nose pliers. Making sure we have that little end tucked in or tucked away. Awesome. And there we go. There is our fantastic wire wrapped sea glass. So there we go. There is our super cute wire wrapped sea glass, and once again this is akin to a Viking knit, so really a great technique. So thank you so much for popping by and joining me to make these great little sea glass pendants. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to give me the thumbs up, as it really helps my channel. And leave me your comments and subscribe. Click that bell to get the notifications when we come up with new content. So for now, thanks again, and I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll talk to you soon.